What's up, Clemson Nation? Everybody else in the college football world. Man, what an atmosphere. What a game that Clemson North Carolina State game was. I was telling people that was probably the best atmosphere in Death Valley since probably since the Louisville game in 2016. Um, just the light show was great and everything, but it was really just the way the crowd brought it. You know, it got loud on every single defensive possession. The stadium was obviously packed, and the Tigers did what they needed to do. They came through, they cruised. It was definitely a big revenge game. You could tell the players thought it was as well. And overall, man, there was a lot of swings in the game, but it could have been a bigger Clemson blowout, and it could have been closer. A lot of things that Clemson did good. Obviously, the defense stepped it up much better. Now, NC State does not have the offense that Wake Forest does, but just the secondary stepped it up. The defensive line brought it, and that was with still Xavier Thomas and Brazee both out this game. And secondary still a little bit depleted. Still a lot of people missing on the defense, and we still showed up. Offense was solid. You know, it wasn't world beaters. There's some mistakes here and there, but Shipley had some great plays, some great runs, great catches, as did the whole receiving core. A lot more plays being made by the receivers the last two games than we saw last year and the first few games this year. It's not that there's been a big revamp back there. It's just DJ playing better and the receivers just catching more balls that they dropped last year. DJ played very good. You know, he didn't have to be a Heisman type game, but he ran the ball very well. His balls were on target most of the time. He struggled with some deep throws, but most of his passes were on target. He was a field general, and he led the way. And it was a lot of possessions that we had field goals where we should have had touchdowns. But hey, I'll take it. You know, at the end of the day, another win after the offense looked better than last year. I mean, it just continues to look better. There's a comfort. I think I can speak for most Clemson fans when I say we're more comfortable. Last year, every time the offense had the ball, you were nervous, you were tense, you were scared, you knew something bad was probably going to happen. You knew it was going to be a 3-and-out or a turnover more than half the time. But this year, I'm not going to sit here and say it's like Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence led teams type of comfort where you're just expecting dominance, but we are way more comfortable than we were last year. So, man, the officiating this game against North Carolina State was just terrible all the way around. There's a lot of NC State fans who think that they would have won with better officiating, but the fact of the matter is, yes, there were some bad calls. Shipley may have fumbled that ball. It was very bang bang right before the half. And there's that other one where the whistle had already blown and everything. So, you know, it is what it is with that. But, you know, both the North Carolina State's touchdown drives were heavily influenced by the refs. There was a BS targeting call. There was a pretty bad pass interference call. Those were on the first touchdown drive, and the second drive, same type of stuff. I think there's a pretty bad pass interference call, and something else happened on that drive. So it's true that the inept refs helped Clemson sometimes, but they most definitely helped NC State as well. Just bad all the way around. So it is what it is there. But man, the dominance of NC State continues. I think that's like 18 of 20 or either 16 of 18, something like that. I mean, NC State is even more of little brothers than the South Carolina. They're what South Carolina would be if Spurrier had never showed up, because Clemson would probably have a similar record against South Carolina if not for Spurrier. But man, just proud of the team, proud of the way that we came out and really proved that we were a top 5 team. I'm not saying NC State's a true top 10 team, but Clemson is well above where they were last year, and there is no dominant team. There is no team that cannot be beat. Ohio State, we saw them struggle against Notre Dame. You know, they have not played a defense with a pulse. They have other than Penn State and Michigan, the rest of the schedule is like bogusly easy. It'd be interesting to see them play those two teams, but Michigan hasn't looked great either. Obviously, Georgia is a shell a shell of what they were at the beginning of the season. I don't know what's going on there. Alabama still dominant, but obviously they've shown, like against Texas, that they can be shaky. That's a game that they 100% should have lost, if not for injuries by Texas. So it's wide open. There's no reason Clemson can't win a national championship this year. The playoffs is the expectation, but we still got a long way to go. And we got Boston College this week. And the Eagles, man, I circled this game before the season started. I was like, man, that is a trap game right there. That is a trap game right there. I thought Boston College would be better than they were. They did just beat Louisville, but that's their only Division One FBS win. The other one was a FCS win. So Boston College, man, they did almost beat Rutgers, but they've struggled. They've looked pretty bad. Florida State ran through them, but this is their big red bandana game where it's a special occasion and a big game for that program. Always is on the red bandana game, and it's on ABC Primetime, same time slot as the Clemson NC State game, because game day is on, I guess the game day game's on Fox Sports or something this week, since it's a Big 12 game at Kansas. So we're in primetime, same slot we were last week, and guess what? Next week, same slot at Florida State, primetime, 7:30. So Clemson getting a ton of national primetime exposure, which, if we can shine this week and next week, should really help us in the rankings and probably jump either Georgia or Alabama if Georgia continues to struggle, and possibly Michigan as well. And we'll see what happens with Ohio State. But just win and the Tigers are in the playoffs. 100% chance of making the playoffs if the Tigers win out. So Boston College, defense is not great, but the offense has potential. I'm pretty confident in our defense and shutting them down. I haven't watched a ton of Boston College. Watched a little bit. I think I watched the Rutgers game, and I watched some of the Louisville game as well. But watching that team, man, their defense can fall apart quick. So I'm hoping it's going to be cold. It's going to be in the mid-40s. I'm hoping that we can stay warm, run the ball well, and really hopefully run away with it. I have faith in our defense, but man, Boston College, like I said, even in 2018, that was like our one tough game the second half of the season. We won by 20, but it's never been easy to play up there for Clemson for whatever reason. Boston College just plays us tough, just like Syracuse normally does. So I'm excited for it. I'm going to go ahead and say for this one, I'm going to go Clemson 40, Boston College 17. Hopeful that it's going to be something like that, and we can kind of relax before that big Florida State game next week, because that one's definitely going to eat away at the nerves. So we'll see what happens. Let's get after it. Let's get up there and get a dub and get ready for the Seminoles next week.